The power of listening to movement in achieving organizational goals. In today's complex and fast-paced business environment, it is critical to have effective communication to achieve organizational goals. However, traditional communication methods may not always be effective in getting the desired outcome. As such, it is important to recognize the power of listening to movement. Listening to movement means paying attention to people's actions rather than their words. It is a powerful tool for leaders to understand how their team members are performing and to identify potential issues that may hinder progress toward the goals. The concept of listening to movement is not new. In fact, it has been used by many successful leaders in history. Listening to movement appears to have originated with the work of psychotherapist and philosopher Eugene Gendlin. Gendlin developed the practice of focusing, which involves tuning into bodily sensations and feelings in order to gain insight and clarity. He used the term listening to movement to describe the process of paying attention to the subtle bodily sensations that accompany emotional experiences. Gendlin's work has been influential in many fields, including psychology, philosophy, and spirituality. He emphasized the importance of bodily experience and the ways in which language and concepts can limit our understanding of our own inner lives. By developing the practice of focusing, Gendlin sought to provide a way for people to access deeper levels of awareness and insight by paying attention to the subtle movements of their own bodies. As a leader, it is important to listen to the movement of your team members to identify their strengths and weaknesses and to provide appropriate support to help them achieve their goals. This requires active listening and observing, as well as recognizing patterns and trends in their behavior. Moreover, listening to movement is not just about understanding individual team members. It also involves understanding the movement of the organization as a whole. This includes identifying areas of strengths and weaknesses, recognizing patterns in customer behavior, and identifying potential roadblocks to success. Listening to movement requires a deep level of empathy and understanding of human behavior. Leaders who can listen to movement can identify potential issues before they become major problems and take proactive measures to address them. This can help prevent costly mistakes and ensure that the organization is on track to achieving its goals. Listening to movement means paying attention to the actions people take, not just their words. As a teenager, I learned this lesson firsthand. I was a cantankerous preteen who thought I could outsmart my parents. I would argue with them, push back against their requests, and try to distract them with emotional outbursts. But my parents eventually caught on. They stopped listening to my words and instead started watching my movements. They saw that I was using distraction and manipulation to avoid doing what they asked me. Once they realized this, they were able to outsmart me and hold me accountable for my actions. The same principle applies in business. People will often use words to distract us from what's really happening. They might say they're committed to a project, but their actions tell a different story. They might claim to be working hard, but we can see that they're slacking off. As leaders, it's our job to pay attention to movement and hold people accountable for their actions. This is particularly important when dealing with difficult situations. When someone is upset or emotional, it's easy to get caught up in their drama and lose sight of the goal. But if we listen to their movement, we can stay focused on what's truly important. We can acknowledge their feelings and emotions, but still hold them accountable for their actions. By doing so, we can avoid getting sidetracked and stay on course. Of course, this is easier said than done. It takes practice and discipline to stay focused on goals in the face of distractions. But the more we practice listening to movement, the better we become at it. We learn to tune out the noise and focus on what really matters. We become better leaders, better professionals, and better people. So, the next time you're faced with distractions or difficult situations, remember to listen to movement. Pay attention to the actions people take, not just their words. Hold them accountable for their actions, and stay focused on your goals. By doing so, you'll be one step closer to achieving your dreams. In conclusion, traditional communication methods may not always be effective in achieving organizational goals. It is important to recognize the power of listening to movement to understand how team members are performing, identify potential issues, and ensure that the organization is on track to achieving its goals. As a leader, practicing active listening and observing, recognizing patterns and trends, and cultivating empathy can go a long way in achieving success.